Antioch was one of the three greatest cities in the Mediterranean at this time of the scriptures, along with Alexandria and Rome. They were great cosmopolitan cities. And it was there at Antioch that pagans, uncircumcised people, were being converted to the Lord. And so they sent Barnabas from Jerusalem in order to teach them more about the faith. And it was in a growing number that the people began to believe and were converted to Christianity. In fact, it says that it was in Antioch where they were called Christians for the very first time. Notice the sequence that, first of all, the pagans met with the Christians that were living there. They encountered other Christians, and their faith was beginning to grow right there as they encountered other Christians. The next step was to send Barnabas to teach them, because faith doesn't come from teaching as much as it comes from witness. And so as Christians were witnessing about Christ, then Barnabas comes and teaches them about the content of their belief, and they begin to understand it on a deeper level. And it's important for us to remember that people receive the gift of faith oftentimes through encounter with other Christians. And like with the whole stewardship as a way of life, the first step isn't prayer, it isn't study, it isn't teaching, it's hospitality. Because when people come and are welcomed, and they encounter one another others who are Christians, they're drawn to that. And then they want to know more. And of course, that's then when the church comes in and teaching takes place to deepen their faith. But faith is always the gift from God. It doesn't really come from teaching, but from the Lord. And being called Christians for the first time, that's an important thing. It's so appropriate, isn't it, to be Christians because we are followers of Christ. Years ago, baptism was called christening, and it was so appropriate to call it that because in baptism we become like Christ, we become one with Christ, and we become not only that, but we become heirs to the kingdom of our eternal Father in heaven. And in the gospel today, Jesus reminds us that the Father and He are one. And here's another teaching that needs clarification. People would ask, are they the same person? Are they two aspects of one person? Are they alike? Do they think alike? What is this? And the doctrine developed of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit as three distinct persons, yet one God. And so we see that you and I are seeing the church develop through reading the Acts of the Apostles and the Gospel. They became aware of who they were. It was like a self-awareness, a new identity. And it was a beautiful thing to behold. As the apostles said, they were just astounded when they saw the grace of God working in all these people in Antioch. And we see it too, don't we? That the church continues to grow even now every year through our RCIA programs and the teachings of the church. But people come and you say, why do you come to learn more about the faith? Because I was encouraged by a friend, or my neighbors I see coming to church all the time, or my grandmother told me I should do this. You know, there's all kinds of things. It's usually an encounter with people. So let us take that to mind, and as we encounter others who are even away from the church or have never known Christ, to just let them get to know us as Christians, and that will draw them to the church. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.